Welcome to the heart and soul of Outdoors Radio. It's the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show. In our 11th season, we continue to share facts and give advice on the great outdoors, where we never let the lack of facts come between us and a good story. Guys who are dedicated to helping you become a better outdoorsman. Your host, Gary McCoy, who's no stranger to the radio world or the outdoors, with a CMA to his credit for best personality. A well-accomplished outdoorsman who loves the thrill of taking a big buck or putting a bass in the live well. Mike Eccles, born and raised in Louisiana, who's fished and hunted his entire life and continues to chase ducks in the backwaters and pull bass off cypress trees. And the Boss Tournament Trail Director who runs the best team circuit in Louisiana. Steve Graff, raised in the woods and waterways of East Texas, a former Northwestern State two-sport athlete and tournament angler who continues to strive for big bass and winning stringers. And last but not least, Jay Watley, the brains and producer of the show who pushes all the right buttons, a man with unmatched talent who excels in making these guys look good and this show sound great. Now let's jump off the front deck and make the first cast with the boys who know it all, Gary, Steve, Mike, and Jay.
See, he's doing it right now. He's pushing all the right buttons.
Yeah. Here I am.
I'm watching it happen.
Your mic's on. Your mic's on. My mic is on.
How about
Mike,
that?
is your mic?
My mic's on.
All right.
Oh, that's the only mistake you've
What-
made.
what
is
is-
that you
Look,
turned on that mic.
never doubt that Mike is turned on.
Yeah.
Hey, what does that feel like to have that kind of power, Jay?
Feels great.
Does it?
Yeah, I
mean,
can-
you have full control in there.
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to abuse it, though.
He has got our electrical gadgets in his hand.
We are
holding
hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger, Gary McCoy, along with the old Ranger Daiwa Dinkmaster Pro Staffer.
That's me.
Steve Graff. The Mud Hen Mike Eccles is here. Of course, we've already made his presence known. Jay Watley in the house. And our opening segment today brought to you by Steve Nichols, Bucks and Bulls Guides and Outfitters, Despino, Jim South Tire, and Lake Fork Guide, Johnny Geis. He's going to be on the show with us today.
Yep.
Of course, one of the things that you need to know about Johnny is if you're looking for the most awesome fishing trip of your life, give him a call. Better yet, go to lakeforkbigfish.com and book the 2017 Lake Fork Guide of the Year. Okay.
And I bet you when he comes on, he's only got one negative thing to say.
The wind's blowing.
Wind.
Yeah, the wind's blowing. Yeah. He's catching fish.
Oh, yeah.
I already
Yeah.
saw that he was catching fish the last 2 days. Some guy caught one, a big 8 yesterday.
Really?
Any rate, if you've been listening to this show for very long, you know that our partner, the Dinkmaster, Steve Graff, has some weird, unique ability that he has demonstrated year after year after year after year, whether it's the FLW Championship or it's the Bassmasters Classic. Somehow or another, he has some kind of leverage with all these other anglers. And
He's got pictures of them with farm animals.
See, this is you, and that's the goat. You're going to be on the show with us. You understand? Anyway, today, just like last year.
And the year before.
No. With this particular individual.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Just like last year, 3 days after his classic win, Jordan Lee is going to be on the show with us. Here at 11:15, so 12 minutes from right now, Jordan
Exactly.
Lee's going to be on. And hopefully we'll get him to hang out with us for a half hour or so.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
He says he's busy now, and I don't know why.
What is he, 14, 16, something
I think
like
I
that?
figured up that he's 27 years old.
Okay, so he's 27 years old. He's already only one of 3 anglers to have ever won back-to-back Bassmaster Classics.
Yeah.
What if before he's 28, he's won his 3rd? What if he pulls off a three-peat?
And this is the 2 classics are his only Elite Series wins. Now, he's been really close. He got edged out
That's
last year.
okay. You know
I know.
what?
I'm just saying, if you're going to win one,
Hey,
win that one.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, man.
We only won one football game, but it was a Super Bowl.
There you go.
Hot dog. But he's going to be on the show with us. I mentioned a second ago that Johnny Geis is going to be on. He's got a report for us about Lake Fork, what's going on there. And one of the cool things that we got a chance to visit last week with Brandon Booth from Lucco Lake Management. He's going to help us construct our own fishery today and maybe give us a little bit of insight into the difference between just a regular Florida bass and then one of the tiger bass. Because from what I hear, a tiger bass will eat the prop off your motor.
No, that's not what we're going to do.
Oh, that's not what we're doing. Okay, never mind.
Last week we talked. He came on. He talked about the different phases of the spawn and how fish look when they're spawning.
Yes,
pre-spawn and everything. But he hit on something that they're having a lot of problems with these managed lakes that they know they have big fish in them, and the big fish disappearing, just vanishing out of the ponds. And we're talking 8, 10, 12-pound fish, and they're being poached.
By other anglers?
They're being poached, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
He's going to talk about it. If you got big, and they go out, they shock these ponds, all of a sudden they're not shocking these fish up.
Wow.
And it's taken them several years to figure out who is stealing these fish.
I'll be darned.
Wow.
Huh. Dude.
Our private detective Mike Eccles is on top.
That's it.
Local lake management. He's going to be here. Brandon is. And, of course, the big news for us is the Classic. And, again, a come-from-behind win. You know what was kind of weird? First day of the tournament, I saw Matt Lee was like second, third, fourth place. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? Wouldn't that be awesome if Jordan won it one year and then Matt won it the very next year? Yeah. Didn't occur to me because Jordan was down the pack a little bit.
He was like 12th or 13th.
Yeah, I mean he was in the hunt.
He was in the hunt, but
he
was back.
And by the second day, I saw Matt fell off. Yeah, and I was like, wow, okay, well, but I didn't really see that Jordan was making a charge. And then the third day to see Jordan wins the whole blasted thing, and Matt's in fourth place.
Yeah, at one point during the day, they were 1 and 2.
Can you imagine, Mike? You're their parents. Can you imagine the lies his daddy is telling right now? My son not only won the Classic one time, he's won it twice, and my two boys finished in the top 4 in the Bassmasters Classic. My two sons.
Now, see, my daddy would have had to make up a lie about me, but his daddy can tell the truth.
Well, I mean, but you can't ever just settle on the truth. Ask Ben Clemens. The truth is never as good as a well-fabricated lie.
That's right.
So if their daddy was going to tell a lie, I mean, is there anything better to work with for a really good whopper of a lie?
But see, he could back it up with the magazine.
God.
At one point on Saturday, what was it? Saturday or Sunday? Sunday, Matt Lee was in second. He was 1 pound, less than a pound behind his brother.
Wow.
I'm thinking that's probably around 10 o'clock that morning.
I want to say that, was it Matt that had, I want to say he had one of the biggest stringers weighed in on Sunday.
I think he did weigh a 17-pound bag on Sunday. He had the biggest bag of the day.
And I was watching some of the coverage of the final day of the Classic, and it looked to me like it would have just been a regular day on Cross Lake if I were Jordan Lee. Because he pretty well just stayed to boathouses and things of that nature. Yeah. And it's one of those things where, I don't normally think about boathouses when it comes to the spawn.
Right.
And I think that's probably it's not smart to discount them just because of the spawn. And sometimes it's that area between the boathouses.
Yeah.
That might be the spot.
But you wonder, is Murray one of those lakes where there's not a lot of cover? So is that maybe a way they pull up to boat docks as cover?
Well, the boat docks could be their Cypress Street.
Yeah, could be. That's what I'm thinking, too.
I don't know.
It's the only form of cover they got, I think. So, but I'm just...
I want to say hello to somebody. We found out we've got another. This makes 4 people that listen to the show every week.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We added one.
Jacob Stewart works at MJ Kelly, and I have no idea what MJ Kelly is, but it's got to be something good. And Jacob Stewart listens every week. And so I want to say hello to him, and we're going to get you a hat, Jacob.
So somebody stole the switcher knob on Jacob's radio.
Yeah, it's broke. He had a little wreck, and it just jammed the button. And he doesn't really like the show. He just doesn't get another station.
Yeah. Okay.
Going back to the Classic real quick, I feel so sorry for this guy right here because this is 2 years in a row this has happened to him.
Brent Ayler?
Jason Christie.
Oh, Jason Christie, yeah.
Well, two of the last 3, excuse me. When he was in Oklahoma, he had the same situation. He's in the lead going into the final day. He's got a 5-pound lead going into Sunday.
Yeah. No way to lose this one.
He has to go catch 5 fish, and that's it.
Right.
5 keepers.
10 pounds, and he's good.
10 pounds, and he's going to win.
Yeah.
He catches 4.
Yeah.
There are cameras on him. I'm on the internet watching his every cast for 3.5 hours, and he cannot get a bite.
Is there a big crowd around him? Was it
No, not really. They once they heard Jordan Lee was kind of in. He had some people around. Don't get me wrong, but Jordan Lee was, and what we want to ask Jordan is, when did you know? Something must be going on. Because see, when the camera boats start to show up at your boat, that's their clue. Something's going on that I'm not aware of. Why are all these people coming to me now?
Yeah.
See, there's a main camera boat for ESPN, or for, I guess it's ESPN, that comes to you.
Right.
Certain guy. When they see that certain guy pull up, they're like,
yeah, I'm doing something right.
I'm doing something right here. Somebody's struggling today.
Yeah.
So it's just neat to see that.
And you know what I wonder? A lot of people want to say that it's a terrible thing to have those people around you. I mean, fishing is so mental, and a lot of people don't realize this. It's so mental. Wouldn't it kind of supercharge you to fish a little bit better when you've got all those eyes on you? And, I mean, wouldn't it kind of
I think it'd be more of a distraction. But
I don't know.
I saw, everybody did a really good job because most of these guys were in the back of a pocket. So they were telling people when they were going to, hey, y'all stay out. This boat dock right here, do not come past it, please. And they had the whole pocket to themselves. And those people honored that. I think that's what went on. I saw Edwin Evers have to confront one boat and say, guys, if you don't mind, would you kind of move to the middle? I'm fixing to come right through there. And I caught 2 good fish there earlier in the week. He made them move off a grass. It was a grassy spot. He wanted to move off of it. That's the only conversation.
What do you think? Would you feed off of that, Mike? I mean, you got all of a sudden you got an audience.
When I'm fishing, all the spectator boats are normally on the other end of the lake,
or not out on the lake.
Yeah.
But how many times have you pulled up on a boat dock on Cross Lake? And there's people out there in the yard, or they're whatever.
A girl on a bikini on the
girl
deck.
on a bikini, and the whole time you're like, please bite. I just want just let me catch this one, and they do.
Yeah,
it's almost like you will the fish to bite.
But I think that there are some anglers who have not learned to handle the crowd and the pressure.
There's no doubt about that.
Without a doubt.
And I think, I'm not saying that they lose their head or anything, but I don't think they fish the same when the crowd's around them.
Yeah.
Jordan said last year on Conroe, there was no crowd around. Jordan was in 15th place. He wasn't even in the hunt.
Yeah.
And he catches 2 or 3 big ones, and they still don't come to him. Nobody knows he's catching big fish. And he catches 5 biggest fish stringer, about 28-pound bag, and brings that sucker in. But he didn't have nobody around because he wasn't in a hunt that day.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to tell you,
never had to deal with the people.
I think that there comes a point when you're fishing, there are guys who will not fish around other fishermen. Just not going to have it. I'm just I'm going to go fish somewhere. And then there are guys that it does not matter.
Yeah, doesn't. Some it doesn't.
Hutton and Hunter Leopard, they were fishing Lake Bistineau. Said their dad Mike came right behind them. wasn't 5 minutes behind them. And caught one of the biggest fish that he'd caught all day, and the boys had just fished there.
Yeah.
So does it
and
really
there's some
matter?
Anglers will look for other fishermen,
and
then go fish where they're at.
Yeah,
exactly.
That happens too. Yeah.
Real quick, Dillon Memorial Bass
Dillon
Poche Memorial Bass Tournament is this weekend, Saturday, March 24th. $7,000 first place guaranteed. Benefits go to the Northwestern State Fishing Team at NSU, and so. It's out of Cypress Bend Park. Make sure you register and make sure you're there for the meeting the night before, Friday, from 2 o'clock till 6 o'clock at Toledo Bend Town and Tackle, right there at Kirk Carver's place.
Are they going to do the meeting in the bait store?
Looks like that's.
I think that's just a registration. I don't know. That
it's not really a meeting. It's just you go
got
to register.
Yeah, and they tell you about all the rules.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So
that is this Saturday, registration Friday, Toledo Town. It's hooking up and tracking down Jordan Lee next, 11:30. The Tiger.
Ladies love country boys.
right, the Hook It Up and Track It Down show. Thanks you for tuning us in today. We're so thankful for our great sponsors, Daiwa Rods and Reels, J&J Exterminating, V&M Baits, Commercial Power Equipment, and Toledo Town and Tackle, the largest tackle box on the bend. Now back to the guys who have a lot more than their wives know about, Gary, Steve, and Mike.
And a little word about commercial power equipment. You know what? If your yard is anything like mine right now, you're not actually growing grass yet. I mean, we've had all the sunshine and all the rain, but you are growing the greatest patch of wild onions that you have ever seen in your life. You got dandelions on the way, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's time to take care of that. Commercial Power Equipment, owner Paul Sutherland, waiting on you right now. I don't know that I think he's been in the business 147 years or so,
at least.
Somewhere along in there. He sold over 1 billion of these X-Mark lawnmowers. Isn't that about right, Mike?
Yeah, I
Yes.
counted them.
So, yeah, I thought you did. Get ready for all your spring yard work. Blowers, trimmers to mowers, they've got it all. And the absolute best lawnmower on the market today, X-Mark. Paul can help you out there. In-house financing available. Just go to mybigmower.com to learn more. Commercial power equipment. And for the second year in a row, merely hours after a Bassmasters Classic win,
Probably hadn't slept.
Jordan Lee on the phone with us. Jordan, you know what? That's a great question. Have you slept a full night since Sunday?
Well, no, I haven't. Honestly, my sleep schedule's been a little off. I got about 2 hours after, the night I won, and then the next day I went to bed at like 5 in the afternoon. I woke up at like 9, stayed up till like 1 or 2. I mean, I think I still got so much adrenaline going that, I hadn't been able to sleep. I've had some weird dreams.
I bet you have had some weird dreams.
Yeah. Did you lose a classic in any of your dreams?
One of them, the IRS showed up at his door.
Hey, that's it. I had a dream that I had 6 in a live well, and I came in and out, lost 2 pounds. Something like that. I don't know. But yeah. The sleep's been kind of on and off, but it's all good.
Were you a little more prepared for those kinds of feelings this year than you were last year after the win?
I was. There's a lot that right after the Classic, and I was more prepared. I kind of knew what I was getting into. Last year, it was, we had a tournament it was just right after, so I had to get ready for that too. But this year, I was a little bit more prepared. I kind of knew what was fixing to happen. So,
Jordan, I watched Bassmaster live. I watched Bassmaster live, and I noticed, and we want to know from you, when on that Sunday did you realize something was going on? Was it when the camera boat came to you? Because we know there's one guy, when he shows up at you guys and he starts videoing, you're like, oh, something must be happening for them to be videoing me for this long.
Yeah, I kind of knew it. I didn't really think about it, but I knew that morning when I caught a couple. I got a few. Just wasn't anything big, but I got a couple 2.5 pounders in the boat, and got the day started, and then I caught a few more and didn't have anything special in the live well, but I had a good start. I mean, I was happy with it, and Robbie Floyd showed up just like he did last year, and I'm like, okay, well maybe I'm sure I'm moving up a little bit, but you don't think that you're in the lead or anything like that, and that's really the last thing I think in the Classic is, oh, I got this, or you just really want to stay focused. That's what I tried to do, is just stay focused on what I needed to do to have a good day, and just it's hard to I don't block it out, but I try to, and that's probably the only reason I won is just still just trying to focus every second on my calf, and try to make the right decision.
Well, you know what, Jordan, you brought up something really big there, because a lot of people don't credit the sport of bass fishing with the mental status that it deserves. Do you have any kind of a trick if you were going to give a class right now on winning the Classic or any type of the elite tournaments? Do you have a trick on staying focused, something that you could pass on to somebody else that says, focus on the line, focus on this, making those right decisions, staying in harmony with the fish?
Yeah, that's right. It's hard. It really is hard. I mean, I don't think, starting my career, I could be on that, have that mental game, but after several years and after last year, it's just time out there and, having a little bit of experience where you can, focus all your time. Focus everything you have on the fish and making those right choices. But it's really, that's where it gets done in tournaments is in between the ears. Everybody can cast, everybody can catch the fish, but, staying mentally there it's hard. But I made sure that last day that I did.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hey, Jordan, let's back up to the night before the first day of the Classic. Now, every angler like y'all goes in, yeah, I'm going to win. I can do this. But in all honesty, now that it's over, what was your thoughts about the tournament that night before the first day? What did you think that you honestly were going to do?
That
based
last day
on your practice.
Yeah, my practice was tough. I didn't really have a great game plan. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do going into the tournament. But, I did know, my fiance, she really kept me mentally fit. That's what you have to do. When you know you're going in a tournament and it's not on the mother load or anything like that, you have to just stay mentally in it. And I just let things come to me. I didn't really, I started on some stuff where I thought I could get some bites. I knew they weren't the winning fish, but, I did it anyway, all rolling. And that's what going into any tournament, especially the Classic, if you can get just some bites in the morning, whether they're 2 pounds or, whatever it is, just to get the momentum going. That's what I fish so much better when, I know I got some in the wheel, and, you can make decisions better, and you can kind of just, do what you want to do. And that's what I did this tournament. I really did what I wanted to do, and I knew it wasn't lights out, but, I fished hard, and I luckily and fortunate got a couple of the right bites throughout the tournament that really, jumped me up there.
Well, yeah, I know you talked about, I saw a couple of interviews you did, Jordan. You talked about how you had in practice, you felt you had a really good spotted bass bite, but you knew you couldn't win it with spots. But I think you said about 50% of the fish you weighed in this event were good quality spots.
Yeah, they were. They were, 2.5. I weighed in a 2 or 3 pounders, which, this tournament though, the winning weight was a lot lower than expected. I think just the conditions and they're changing that last day, and it's just how it happened. But it was definitely a little bit lower weight tournament than was expected, and that really just played in to how I was catching them. And I didn't know that going in, but it's just how it kind of worked out in the end, where those quality spots really played for me, and was the only reason that I know I won, because the second day of the tournament, I weighed in all spots, and I never got a largemouth bite all day long, and I tried.
And you had a 12-pound bag on that day.
Yep, a 12-pound bag, and just going to those spotted bass place where I hadn't even fished yet, and caught some good quality spots. That really saved that day from it would have been a really low weight day for me if I didn't do that.
I bet your folks, with you and Matt finishing top 4, I bet your folks are just beside themselves.
They are. I know they still can't really believe it. How it went down.
Yeah.
But
I remember
they
your
were
collegiate
really
days when the two
excited.
of you were having to compete against each other. That had to have been the worst situation until now. You know?
Oh, I know. I did. No, I was when I came in and I looked at bass track and I saw we were 1-2. I mean, I wanted to throw up because
Yeah.
the
Sure.
last thing that I wanted was I either wanted Matt to have a huge stack and just blow it out, or it was going to be really tough to come down to us. And
Yeah.
just, it be ounces. I mean, that's just tough because that makes it. It makes it good, for the fans and the sport. But for me, I mean that and my parents, I mean that's tough.
I would think that'd be y'all's worst nightmare.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean,
It comes
it
down
would.
to ounces
It would be for
between
me.
you and your brother?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
that's got to be tough.
Yeah, it's like, can we just split it down the middle?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jordan, I didn't get to watch it because I was busy all week doing. I don't even know what I was doing, but
Whatever his
Yeah,
wife
what
told
was you
him.
doing?
Yeah.
I fished the tournament Saturday, and I did
Okay, well, there
something
you go.
else. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, they said that you fish boat docks or around boat
Right.
docks. My question is boat docks the predominant pattern on the Lake Hartwell, and there's not a lot of trees, so they were on the boat docks, or if you've got boat docks on the lake where you've got a lot of cypress trees and other stuff, in spring spawning, is boat dock still a good pattern? If you've got multiple
Right.
amounts of cover, different types of cover.
Right. Well, I practiced boat docks a lot in practice for Hartwell, and it just wasn't going on. I mean, the conditions, it was cold, it was cooler. We had wind, we had rain, and that last day was really the day that they really got on them good, and it was hot, it was sunny, and the water was warming up, and those fish want to get up under those docks and sun under those floats. And where I was fishing at, I was on the lower end of the lake. The water was really clear. I mean, it's 7-foot visibility, and those fish really don't have anything else to get around but besides those docks. I mean, that's where they pull up and stage. So that's really, where I was fishing at. It was the predominant, cover. I mean, it's really the only thing they have to get around.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Now, Jordan,
that's why I was fishing that way for sure.
the final day, about your last cast, and we're three anglers in here talking to you. We all fish tournaments. We all know what this is like. You throw out there and you set the hook on the biggest fish of the day, and it doesn't get in the boat. What went through your head when that happened?
It was crazy. I was seeing so many fish under these docks. I mean, every dock had a fish under it. I mean, like I said, the water was gin clear, so there was multiple fish on these docks. And I was going through this pocket again for the second time, and I go to the next dock, and it was a small dock, and right under it there's between a 5 and a 6 pounder just sitting there, and it's facing the other way, and I make a perfect cast, and it lands right on his tail, and it just swirls on it, eats it, and it's like slow motion, and I'm watching him just have the worm in his mouth, and he bit at it a couple times and started swimming towards me, and I waited, thought he had it, and I pulled, and it came, the worm, it took my bait. So, I mean, at that point, I was just like, man, I had a smaller spot in the live well. It would have been a huge cold one. I thought, at that point that, I probably wasn't going to get it done, because that was just a huge bite. And so I was, the whole way riding back to the ramp to check in, and all the way to the weigh-in, it's kind of all I could think about was replaying in my head. But luckily, I didn't need it. But it was heartbreaking.
Isn't that crazy? You don't think about all the other ones you do have in the boat. You can only think about the one you
Exactly.
don't have in the boat.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, I fished a clean tournament. I didn't lose any. I mean, and I'm thankful for everyone I got in. But you're right. The ones you lose, that's the only ones you think about.
Yep.
You don't think about the ones you caught.
That's right.
All right,
And,
so around those parts, because we don't have water that clear here. I mean, we're in Northwest Louisiana. I mean,
1
for
foot.
us, 1 foot of visibility is gin clear.
Exactly.
So, when you've got 7 foot of clarity, what size line are you throwing?
Yeah, so I was throwing 8-pound Tatsu Seaguar fluorocarbon, and I was throwing a 30-pound braid main line, and I was throwing lighter line, and that line's really strong. I mean, I never lost, like I said, never lost a fish all week, and I'm just confident in that lighter line that it's not going to break.
Mm-hmm. Were you seeing most of the fish bite that last day? Like that 5 or 6 pounder.
I wasn't seeing most of them. I was catching some fish off these docks, and I could see them swimming around, see them sunning under those docks. But most of the ones I caught, I was just pitching up, around the shade, and they'd come out and eat it. But I didn't, visibly see them eat it.
How much of a crowd did you have around you?
There was quite a few people. I don't look back a lot behind me, because that's another thing about the mental side of it. I mean, you keep looking behind you, and you see all these boats. It can definitely get in your head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I did have a crowd on me at a couple times. I mean, there was 15, 20 boats.
Well, probably one thing that helped you was really all the anglers on the lake. A lot of the guys were deep in these pockets, so you could kind of tell your followers, "Hey, please don't come past this boat dock right here if you don't mind." I mean, you could control it, couldn't you?
You can. I didn't. I had some friends following me, and they kind of helped me out. By telling everybody just to may stay back a little bit.
So Jordan's got his own entourage.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
No, you had bouncers.
I have a couple lucky friends that came last year, and they came again this year. So
he had Big Billy Bob was out there, and then there was Biff and Guido, and
that's right.
They were all packing, baby. And,
leg breakers.
They let it be known. Do not go past this point right here.
Hey Jordan, you said you were throwing braid with a fluorocarbon leader. So were you throwing this on a casting reel or a spinning reel?
It was a spinning reel. Yeah, I was throwing a Quantum Smoke spinning reel and a Vapor, the new Vapor rods that I really like using, and throwing a 610 medium heavy rod.
Okay, how do you stop when you do that? How do you stop? You've got to reel that knot up into the rod.
That's correct.
Okay, you don't find that damaging where your two lines are tied together on excessive casting?
There's a great knot to use to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never, the knot I use, I think, is the Alberto knot.
Yes, that's the one.
Al Bolton, he used to do the weather here.
Alberto.
Oh, I thought you said Al Bolton.
Alberto.
Okay.
That's right.
And that smaller diameter line, that knot's not as big a factor.
Exactly. It's so small of a knot, and I really, I keep it, I don't reel it down into the reel, and, I definitely have it, right up on the rod, and that's the knot I use, and I don't reel it down in the reel. So I have about a 10-foot leader, and that's really the main deal I use.
Can I give you a little word of advice on that, Jordan?
Oh yeah. You give some advice to the guy that just won the classic.
No, I'm going to give him some advice because he's never been my age.
Oh,
okay,
not yet.
I'm going to tell you right now, Jordan. If you're going to try to tie that knot in a 25-mile-an-hour wind when you're 54 years old, you better have a set of glasses that looks like a telescope that read Mars.
That is, I'm telling you. Hey, you do. You really have to. You have to. You better have some good glasses to tie that knot. It's a small knot, and it's not the easiest thing to tie. I mean, especially if you're a little shaky. Now, I was a little shaky that last day. So I had to, if I retied, I mean, it wasn't the easiest thing in the world for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what was the winning bait for you? What would you catch most of the fish on?
Yeah, I used a lot of different baits this week. I mean, I used a deep diving jerk bait. I used the striking ocho. Used a couple different, stick baits through a rage swimmer, and all of them were important. All of them that caught me those spots. And I was throwing the rage swimmer, just a little small swim bait on a quarter-ounce jig head, and was definitely. Every one of them was key, but the Ocho and the stick baits that I was using just in green pumpkin just kept it simple. I was throwing in a little Nico rig, where I was having a 3/32 ounce male weight put in the worm, and that helped it fall, a little bit quicker. And all those baits though were definitely caught fish for me all week, and were key for sure.
Okay. Okay, we always get into this about how important or how much we make too much over colors. You're catching them on a green pumpkin stick bait, green pumpkin red flake, but all you got is green pumpkin blue flake. How often does that really make a difference?
It does. I mean, it really doesn't. I mean, green pumpkin is probably the best color for clear water. I mean, it just is, and you don't have
my
to get
point
too
is,
fancy.
I think we get too wrapped up in trying to make the bait the perfect thing to catch the fish when it's really the presentation. It's not the.
Let me give a counterpoint on that. So though, Jordan Lee just won the Bassmasters Classic on with us. I mean, like he just was last year. He's repeated as the Bassmaster Classic champion.
Yeah.
Let's say that in practice you have caught them on watermelon red.
Okay.
You run out. There's no more watermelon red in America.
Right.
Are you going to go out there and fish as confidently with a black one as you were with watermelon red?
No, you're definitely not. I mean, that's where it comes down to is what you're confident in, and if you're confident in what you're throwing, I mean, that's the biggest thing, because you're going to make better casts. You're going to put it. You're going to fish it maybe a little bit slower, and that's just what works for me. But just having somewhat of the right color. I mean, it doesn't have to be the exact, but having.
I just don't want to totally discount color, because I'm going to tell you that if they're on watermelon red, throw up. What's the old fire and ice? The blue with the red metal flake in it. Throw that, and there are times
they ain't gonna hit it.
They're not going to touch it.
They're not gonna touch it. I've been there. All right. I want to make sure everybody understands just how good Jordan Lee has been since he came on tour.
Dude.
52 tournaments, 41 times in the money. That's a 78.8% times in the money.
You're just starving to death, aren't you, Jordan? Jordan Lee.
I am. I really am.
God love you. You just can't ever finish in the money.
He's over won $1 million, and he's 27 years old.
Yeah. God love. I got a 25-year-old son, and I think he owes $1 million.
They know, yeah. I do owe a little bit, and I buy enough tackles that I don't have all that money.
Don't give us that crap. You don't buy a tackle.
Your fiance's not listening right now.
Yeah. So, what's this? Like the first tournament right after the Classic, the first tournament, and you remember it last year. It happened a little bit quicker, but is it going to be as easy to? Is it just back to the grindstone? Is it just the normal day at the office then, or is it a little bit different with everybody coming up to you? Hey, congratulations! This is awesome.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, as you speak, I got somebody outside the truck, and I'm actually fixing to do some videos, and it's different. It really is. I mean, I'm gonna have to watch where I go a little bit more now, and I mean, but it's all good. I mean, it really is. It's fun, and
enjoy the ride, Jordan.
It's good.
Jordan
I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, it's special. So,
Dude, congratulations. You know what? It would be awesome if we get to talk to you about this time next year.
it would be amazing. And I'm going to try to do it again.
You have to
But,
come in studio next year, though.
Oh, and you know what now?
Hey, that's a deal.
What we do, you know what we do want to do is we would love to set something up. We need you to help us out. We need to talk to Matt.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't think you've got a bigger supporter than your family. And for Matt to be right there in the hunt this year and to watch his brother walk away with that again, that has got to be the most ultimate charge for him, because I don't think there's probably a human being that loves you any more than your brother does. And the way it was for him last year to be there with you on stage and then to be in the final mix of things with you this year, it'd be neat to hear his vantage point on that.
I mean, like you said, I mean, I don't have a bigger supporter, and neither does he. I mean, for him to be right there on the final day of the Classic, I mean, it's just awesome. I mean, he's got what it takes. He's going to win his, and it's just awesome to see him have a lot of success this past year, and just to see us both doing well. I mean, that's what our dream was, and it's really became a reality, and it's just awesome to see the work that he puts in, and same for me. I mean, the work that we've put in just pay off, and it's awesome, and he definitely should come on and give you his side. But he had an awesome tournament, and he did really, really well. So
we're going to make that happen.
I'm proud of him.
Jordan Lee, thank you. Congratulations. Go make aren't you doing a commercial for Strike King here in a minute?
That's true. That is exactly what I'm fixing to do.
Well,
so
listen,
it'll be good.
We're going to be watching for you. You're going to be like the king of ESPN for at least the next year, right?
I don't know about that. But,
Jordan Lee, congratulations, brother, and thank
Great
you
job.
for hanging out.
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it.
We are hooking up and tracking down. Sit tight. Johnny Guy's going to tell us what's going on in Lake Fork. That's next, 11:30. The Tiger.
Here's Matt.
Do you know about our social network? Check out our Facebook page at Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show for outdoors news, great educational videos, and product giveaways. This segment presented by Daryl Gleason of South Toledo Bend Guide Service, Cypress Knee Outdoors, and United Rentals, supplying all the tools and equipment you'll ever need to complete your next project. Now let's put a bow on hour one with Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and Steve Graff.
Thanks again, Jordan Lee, hanging out with us.
You know,
He did a great job.
Yeah,
he did outstanding. You know,
Oh, if you want a little bit of action for your afternoon, just Google Jordan Lee and then click on images. No, I'm just serious.
Pow, pow.
Just Google Jordan Lee and then click on images. Try that.
Unless you're below a certain age.
Yeah.
Let's just,
Must be 21 or older.
let's just say that.
Had no
you know what?
idea.
It never ceases to amaze me how from year to year lakes change, and one lake is hot, one year and then one the next. And this is the year for Lake Fork. There's 15-pounders being caught by almost everybody that goes out there.
Yep.
Well, maybe not, but there are 15-pounders being caught over there. So if you want to head to Lake Fork, make sure you go to Lake Fork Marina. It is over 30 years as a full-service resort. It's a great accommodation with full-size hotel rooms, all the way down to cabins and a scenic RV park overlooking Lake Fork. They've got internet service, guest laundry, and it says really good restaurant. No, an incredible restaurant.
Amen.
Tiffany's.
Yeah.
They got a tackle store that's got good stuff, not that junk with dust on it. Nothing but the best over there. So I go to lakeforkmarina.com. That's lakeforkmarina.com to learn more about the #1 resort on Lake Fork.
Johnny Geis, the 2017 Lake Fork Guide of the Year, on the show with us again this week. And Johnny, I noticed on your Facebook page yesterday, you guys have been battling the wind for the last couple of days on Lake Fork, but y'all were catching some pretty big pigs yesterday.
We had two pretty good ones yesterday. One about 8 pounds, but it was like pulling teeth, man. It was slow. Trying to fight that wind. Today we didn't have enough wind yet, so I'm going to blame it on that. How's that?
Well, yesterday was deceivingly cold. I mean, it got up into the 60s, and yet it just felt cold all day long.
It was. That breeze just, the northwest breeze, it just killed us. Stayed cold. It was a little bit colder starting out this morning, but it's warmed up real quick. Water temperature is up to 60 again already, and we ought to have a pretty decent afternoon, but I know where they're fixing to bite. We're going to cut here in a minute and go eat that cheeseburger.
Amen. Now, how deep, if somebody were headed to Lake Fork right now and you said, I would stay in this depth range, would it be, the bank to 4 feet of water? Would it be out a little bit further?
It kind of depends on what you want to target. 6 foot or less anywhere, but the big pre-spawners are still staged up off points, main lake, and catching them on a Carolina rig, fluke, heavy-weighted fluke, dragon. A lot of fish still being caught on the chatterbait. We're pitching the salties under the cork today, and I think we've got 6 in the boat and caught a couple of those on the Carolina rig. So we hadn't had a big bite yet this morning. All been little males, so they'll have to warm us up.
Well, I heard a rumor that there was already a frog bite on Cross Lake. Has anybody seen topwater action already on Fork?
I tell you, it's a good 2 weeks ago. I saw frogs hopping in Glade Creek on top of the moss. So yeah, they'll bite on the frog right now. A lot of fish are in the alligator grass and weeds, but we don't have much nesting activity. We had a little bit. Water was sustained; you couldn't see them, but the big wave is just holding right out there, kind of like what it was on Hartwell. They're just holding right out there. We're expecting any day to flood the bank with nests, but I haven't seen a nest in 2 days.
Johnny, explain to everybody, and me too, because I've not got to do it with you. How do you fish? How do you rig up, and how do you fish the black salties, which is a type of it's a live bait. It's some type of minnow. how do you do it?
It's about the size of a big goldfish or shad colored, kind of bronze and silver on the sides. We fished it under a cork with free lining about 3 foot low, 4 foot low at the most. And salty might be on top of the water pulling the cork, and fish hits him on top, or he'll go down and get him on the bottom too. But we're just moving around and not tying up much, just sliding along like you're pitching jigs to wood. And we got a bunch of flooded willows we're pitching in right now, and we had one bit 3 times before we caught him a while ago. So they're real finicky even on live bait, but is what it is.
But you're throwing it with a slip cork.
One of the guys using slip cork right now. Normally, I'll just peg mine and leave it there. It really doesn't matter.
It's not hard to throw it with your if your cork is pegged.
We're not casting. We're just a short pitch cast. Maybe 20 feet at the most is the best way. That way your bait stays real lively and you don't spook the fish too. The quieter the entry, the quicker you bite usually.
You know, Graff and I fished with you like that last year, Johnny, and I was amazed. You know, I mean, you can fish through a pocket pretty quick if you're just, you know, if you got 3 guys in the boat and you're fishing that way and you're just picking out, you know, each stump within X amount of feet off of the bank. I mean, you can walk through a pocket quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in it up right now. When y'all were with me, we caught them on a white fluke. I'm right at that point now, Willis, and it didn't take us long. This is our second cove to 6 fish and 2 coves. There's just no big ones here yet. We got to keep moving until we find that pocket that has the. I've already heard of a couple over 8 caught this morning by a couple of guide buddies, so they are some biting.
What about the deep bite? Is there anybody still stroking them out deeper?
Not a lot of people are fishing deep. When my sister was here last week, we did go out and caught 3 bass in 29 foot of water while we were trying to catch white bass. They were mixed in with them. They just were the same, you know, 1.5 pound, 2 pound fish. They wasn't big ones, but there's so much bait piled out about 20, 25 foot right now. And once it, you know, heads into the shallows, I think the fish will come too. But hard to see any bait fish in shallows right now.
Well, you know what? I saw you with you and Mary Jo and her husband. Y'all wandered into a big bunch of big old crappie as well.
Yeah, some of our bites were missing. I think might be some of those big black crappie. They're up spawning in about a foot or 2 of water, and I found those on a half-day trip. And we went back out. I said we only need about 8 or 10 for lunch, and it took us about 15 minutes to get that done, and had a real good meal.
Now, Johnny, will the crappie spawn in the same areas with the black bass, or will they
at the same time?
Yeah, and are they looking for a different area?
No, they're about the same areas. They're in all the flooded willows right next to a little bit of grass, and usually when they come in and you find one, there's usually a pretty good pile of them together. But last week it was just one here and one there. Nothing's really made the major move shallow like they're going to do, and I don't know why. I mean, other than these cold fronts, I guess I can blame it on that because it does drop the water temperature down 3 or 4 degrees every morning.
And once again, as anglers, we tend to rush everything.
Oh, cool.
We want them to bite today. Yeah. You know.
Yep, absolutely. But boy, I tell you what, just like you mentioned, Lake Fork with 3 fish over 13 already, and they had the big tournament last week. 1,900 people fished Saturday. There was 3 over 11, 1 10.5, 9.5, and 8 pounder caught during that tournament. Angler wins $15,000 every hour from one of those big fish.
Wow.
Any bass fish been brought in that you're aware of, Johnny?
Yeah, a guy named Alex Finch, and he'd already had a 9 pounder or something like that leading the Bass Cash Bash. And somebody came in with 11. Well, he goes right back out the next day, catches one 13.06.
I'll trump you. Yeah. I'll see your 11 and trump you.
Yeah.
Dang.
His bait that is a hot bait on Lake Fork this year. It's called a thumper. It's his version of the chatterbait. But young man's got a little business going, and looks like he can catch some fish too. Doesn't he?
Yeah,
wow.
It does.
So, Johnny, if somebody's wanting to get in this right now, have you got any dates left in March that somebody could get in there, or early April?
Not March. I've got 5 or 6 days right in the mid-April, which is probably going to be one of the best times too. And I've got those days open, but with the popularity of the big fish right now, if you're coming, you got to get your reservations in pretty quick. And
yeah,
I think we're going to have a super banner spawn here just starting here this next full moon in a week. I believe it'll start.
And is it too early if somebody, you know, who's a regular listener of the show that knows when it comes down to that summer bite, you know, that late May, all of June, all July, summer bite with Johnny Guy, is it too early to make reservations with you for that?
No, I've got those wide open and some of the best dates, and I don't know if people are just booking a little bit later this year, but man, that's the best one from mid-May to the end of July. It's Big Fish City here in what I do. So.
Yeah, you said May was probably the #1 month over there.
Yeah, the latter half of May, once the spawn's finished up and the fish start moving back out and you know, really going on the feed, fatting back up after the spawn, but you can catch our trips, and y'all been on them, we can average 20 fish a day that average 5 pounds a day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've done it.
LakeForkBigFish.com. Johnny Geist, of course, fishing guide on Facebook. And, Johnny, what's the best phone number if somebody's wanting to make those reservations?
Yeah, give me a call on the cell phone. It's 972-800-3882. Area code's 972-800-3882. Time to get the kids out, too.
Oh, without a doubt.
There you go.
Without a doubt. And you know what? Let the kids help, like if they come in the summertime, help them catch the brim that you use to catch the fish on the live brim. I mean, kids are going to love that trip. And if you got a senior that's graduating high school this year, talk about a great senior trip. Johnny, guys, check him out. Look at him on Facebook, all those great pictures, or LakeForkBigFish.com. Johnny, thank you, brother.
All right, thank you, guys. Talk to you. Bye.
We are hooking up and tracking down, and here in just a couple of minutes, a little bit of a informative.
Oh, it's going to be
segment.
Really interesting.
Brandon Booth, we had him on the show last week. He's going to explain everything on how to build your own fishing sanctuary. He's from Lucco Lake Management. That's next. Hooking up and tracking down. 11:30, The Tiger.
That's right. Here's one more hour of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. This segment presented by Commercial Power Equipment, the Red River Waterway Commission, Stingray Line Cutter, and Espino and Jim's Big South Tire. Your tire supply headquarters with the best prices and the best service. Take it away, guys.
Hey, it's Gary McCoy, along with the Ranger, Iowa, Dinkmaster, Pro Staffer, Steve Graff, the Bud Hen, Mike Eccles is in the house. And I want to brag for just a minute about K2 coolers.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what. I have found, I'm not a big crawfish boiler. I eat crawfish. I don't know a whole lot. But I'll tell you this. I was at a big crawfish boil here a couple of weeks ago, and I brought my K2 cooler over, and they steamed those crawfish in there, and the guy said it might be that thing's too insulated.
It kept cooking them.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not used to using a cooler this good.
Yeah.
And he says it might be that it was just too insulated.
Too good.
So you might want to consider that, but I'll tell you right now, when you get ready to, they've actually done the steaming and stuff, and they're starting to cool off a little bit, throw them in your K2 cooler and see how many you can steal.
Yeah.
And, take them home that way, and then you can get them peeled right there.
Save your K2 for your beer.
Well, yeah, but, buy two of them.
Yeah.
One's for crawfish, one's for beer. It's a Louisiana-made product, and I'm going to tell you right now, when we put a K2 cooler up for grabs on our Facebook page,
dude,
Is it stupid
It's stupid.
how popular that is?
Yes.
I wished I was not on the receiving end of all those likes and shares. I do. I really do. Because it's just ping, 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 ping.
It's crazy just how popular that is. A real cooler at a real affordable price. Use it for tailgating, hunting trips, fishing, family getaways. You can put your cold beverages in there. And if you're looking for a K2 cooler, we've got them at Paul's Farm and Garden, North Market in Shreveport, or go to K2Coolers.com. And back again this week, a really informative session with him last week. We've got Brandon Booth from Lucco Lake Management. And Brandon, from what I understand, you're going to tell us how to use dynamite and blow up all of the whole dam at Toledo Bend.
No, yeah, I could go into great detail about that.
That's what I was thinking. Well, every time we've gone through several things that we said, well, this is what Brandon is. No, that's not what he's going to do. Well, this is what Brandon. No, that's not what he's going to talk
all
about.
you got to do is ask.
So-
all you got to do is ask me.
Hey, Brandon, what do you want to talk about?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't even get to choose.
No, you're the guest of honor, Brandon. What do you?
Well,
Don't you want to talk about where all these fish are going?
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, we're going to talk about poaching.
That's it. That is
Okay.
it. They've got an issue with managed lakes where, like Heartland 1010, where they're trying to raise big trophy fish, and they've noticed over the last few years that they're disappearing. And it's taking several years to figure out who the culprit is. Is that right?
Yeah, it's taken a few years. It's a very elusive creature that's doing it. So
It's not
they're-
Bigfoot, right? Is it Bigfoot?
no, I wish it was. but
It's
no,
Jay
no,
Watley sneaking into your pond.
You're darn right.
So what's stealing these fish?
Well, it turns out it's river otters.
Really?
Really?
That's it.
And they're getting into everybody's, pond. How does a river otter
I was thinking-
wrestle a 14-pound bass?
Well, they are a very aggressive predator, actually. They're very efficient underwater.
Wow.
They do real well in confined areas. So a pond is a perfect environment for one. The fish, they're limited on where they can go. So
It's like ducks in a barrel for that sucker. He
Yeah.
just,
When you've got a client like Heartland 1010 or one of the other wonderful fisheries that you work with across the country, when you've got a client and all of a sudden they find out they've got river otters, what's your advice to them? Because in some cases those are protected. You can't do anything about it.
we're going to suggest that they contact a trapper. You can do simple searches online for local trappers. If you're in Texas, we do have our agricultural extension agency. They do have some trappers, and they can make some recommendations there. Sometimes, if certain situations, say if the pond is something that's on like a city property or something like that, they can actually send a trapper out. Basically, that's what we've got right now.
now, Brandon, are otters kind of like rattlesnakes? When you find one, there's more somewhere around. Are they big groups?
They're going to be in groups. You will find a sole otter, but typically they have groups. Typically, just a few individuals. What we typically see is anywhere from like 1 to 4. I don't see too many more than that. I know that there's been reports of certain places that there's been as many as 15 or so otters.
I can see them devastating the fishery.
Brandon Booth from Lucco Lake Management. Brandon, now this is something that's really important to a lot of us. How often do you have a Sasquatch that's causing problems?
I don't know how often that happens. I've got some family down there in Wally.
Oh yeah,
and,
they say
Lord!
Sasquatch. Yeah,
I think sometimes they might go around and pretend to be Sasquatches.
Is that a big problem? I mean, is it happening in a lot of the lakes that you work with?
Sasquatch?
No,
That's not a big problem.
The river otter.
It is becoming a very big problem. We've noticed for years now, doing electroefficient surveys, that the ponds aren't producing like they should. No matter what management strategies you use, Been trying to figure out what the cause was, and it turns out, it's the otters. I said it's more so in Louisiana, in the eastern half of Texas, but we are seeing otters now in the hill country of Texas. And when you have just one otter is bad, but when you have an entire group of otters, it devastates a fishery because they have to eat so much per day.
Sure.
And that's you told me how many pounds a day an otter has to eat?
Typically, it's going to be like 2 to 3 pounds, but some of the people that work with otters daily, as far as trapping otters and actually collecting otters for like zoo exhibits and things, some of those otters will eat 4 or 5 pounds every couple hours.
Wow.
Oh, every couple of hours.
Every couple of, otter has extremely high metabolism.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, Brandon, like on the Red River, we have not just we have minks. Now, are minks also? Can they devastate a fishery as well?
They eat guppies.
They eat guppies.
No,
they'll kill all your duck eggs.
Yeah, we don't have any problems with minks. In fact, we rarely see mink in the ponds.
Oh, okay.
So the deal is that we've got these otters now, and they're elusive too. I mean, you can have them and not know they're there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
and they're going to eat 4 or 5 pounds of meat every 3 or 4 hours. So I mean, an otter could be eating 5 to 10 pounds of fish a day, and an otter is capable of catching and eating a 10 or 12 pound fish.
Holy cow!
And like Brandon explained, when you're raising these fish, when you're building these ponds and you manage them, you buy these high quality fingerlings, and you bring them in and you feed them like the copper-nosed wren that are fed. So you've got a lot of money invested. If a cormorant comes in and eats shad, you've lost shad, and you can replace them. But when an otter comes in and eats your 10-pound bass that's been there for 6 or 7 years,
no replacing it.
You have got bukus of dollars invested in one Happy Meal for an otter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's several $1,000s, lost when they go in and start eating your fish. One thing I'd say is the dollar amount. If I had to guess, each one of those fish, the 10-pounder. If I had to sell one, it's probably going to be a couple thousand.
Wow.
Woo.
Wow. Now, when it comes to the lake management, Mike just mentioned cormorants. And the cormorants coming in, and I'm going to tell you, if you fish Toledo Bend much, you know that you cannot catch a fish on Toledo Bend that's 2 pounds or greater, that it hasn't got at least one big ripped place on his side where a cormorant's had a hold of him. How big an issue is the cormorant to the southern fisheries? And when you answer that, I'm going to follow it up with another question. Will they ever allow us to start shooting them?
Yeah, why are they protected? Yeah.
Yeah, they will devastate a fishery as well. Obviously, they're going to target your bait fish and your small bass. They will get after larger fish, and you'll notice the scars. You'll see a scar or you'll see a poke mark in the back of that fish. But basically, over the course of a winter in a small pond, between like October and say right now in March, you can wind up with a pond with zero forage in it.
Mm-hmm. Just because of the cormorants?
Just because of cormorants. Each bird can typically eat about 2 pounds of fish a day.
That's what I heard. Heard they eat their body weight.
Wow. Yeah. Do you think they'll ever allow us to treat them as a crop predator, like a crow,
like
or
snow geese,
something along those? Do you think they will ever allow landowners? Because I got a pond, and on occasion, if I see a cormorant out there, obviously I know it's against the law to shoot them, but it's not against the law for me to go out there and make a whole lot of noise and drive them off. Will they ever allow us to hunt those? Do you think?
There has been some projects in the works to do some sort of hunting from the duck hunters, special permits and that sort of thing. It's a real iffy subject. In Texas, we were a little bit more free as far as shooting those. Texas actually would give a permit to any landowner for a small fee, but special interest group actually got that stopped this year. So Texas was not allowed to harvest any cormorants.
Well, if like you're a catfish farmer, you can get a deprivation permit.
Right.
Oh yeah,
and shoot them. You can actually shoot pelicans.
Really?
Yes, with a deprivation permit if you've got it. Absolutely.
Now, do you think that the same would be applicable in Texas?
Yeah, I mean, all the fish farms, things like that, they get those permits, and they can protect their ponds. But as far as a private landowner, we're hoping to get that decision reversed and continue to allow the landowners to harvest those birds.
Brandon, who is the biggest culprit in a private pond or one of these big fish ponds of that nature? Who's the biggest culprit? Is it the otter? Is it the cormorant or the pelican? Waterfowl of some type, or is it us by not acting and not treating it right?
Not harvesting.
Yeah, it's going to be the landowner not taking the proper action.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
If the landowner will just follow some simple rules and will listen to your biologist and your extension agent, your pond's going to be in a lot better condition.
What's the number one thing we're doing wrong?
In a pond, it's going to be not harvesting.
Not taking fish out.
Yeah.
Not taking fish out. It's a lot different than our big public reservoirs. In those settings, I like to, catch and release and, keep a few for dinner every now and then. But in a pond, you have to harvest your fish.
But now, after that initial stocking, at what point, how many years later should you start to do that?
Around year 2.
Year 2, okay.
Okay, I got a plain, simple, black and white question for you. The grass carp. Are you a proponent or an opponent?
I'm not for stocking grass carp in our public reservoirs.
What about these private fisheries?
In a private fishery, if you follow the rules and you take all the precautions, you can use grass carp as an effective tool. It has to be done exactly right, though.
It's certainly not like some people treat it. Well, if 50's good, then 150 would be excellent.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, a grass carp has a certain plant that it prefers over other plants. If you just put them in a pond, they're going to go eat the most soft, succulent plants first. They're going to leave the other ones for later. And then, if you do put too many in, they're going to destroy everything. And what a lot of people don't realize, it's kind of like mowing your yard. Once you let that yard get up, 5 or 6 inches, it's a lot more work to get it knocked down. It's the same way with grass carp. You put the recommended amount in, and your pond's completely choked out. It takes a lot more work for those fish to get it under control, and people don't realize that, you're not going to see instant results from those carp. It takes a little while. So they stock more and more and more, and then you end up with a mud hole.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandon, if you will, I'd like to have you come back next week, and if you can, and what I want you to delve into then is, first off, the Florida bass. What percentage of fish do we have in our lakes that are pure strain Florida, and how do they get diluted down with the native black bass? And then I want you to talk about the tiger bass. It's kind of a myth what a tiger bass really is, and how do they achieve having what they call a tiger bass. Can you do that next week?
Yeah, I can go into a few details about that.
Okay, we'll have you back.
Brandon Booth, Loco Lake Management. If somebody's wanting to read more about this, Brandon, what's y'all's website?
Hey, it's www.locoranch.com.
And that's LOCHOW. So if somebody would now look, we're rednecks from Louisiana. Loco wouldn't be spelled that way. Okay, but
it is not.
Yeah, it's like Lo Chow. Lochow, but it's Lucco.
Yeah.
And you can read more about that. Maybe you might want to do business with Brandon and possibly have him work on your fishery, at least give you some advice, something along those lines. And we certainly appreciate having you on the show the last couple of weeks with us.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Looking forward to next week. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30 The Tiger.
Right or wrong, I'll keep on dreaming. Still I wake with that same old regret. All alone.
Afternoon. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30 The Tiger. It's Gary McCoy along with the Ranger Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff, the old mud hen Mike Eccles. But this show would not be possible. It wouldn't matter how good we think we might be.
Exactly.
And that's good.
If Jay Watley wasn't in that control booth, pushing all the right buttons, making all the right decisions, he is totally in tune with the magic of radio.
Yes.
He's the Jordan Lee.
He's the Jordan Lee
Yeah.
of the
Lee
radio booth. If it weren't for that, it wouldn't matter how good we think we are. It would never be heard.
I couldn't have said it any better myself, boy.
We could have. You
It's
wrote
almost
that.
like he wrote it.
We got 10 more minutes in this segment. We can just make it all about that.
There
That'd
you
be great.
go. Hey, this segment brought to you by Daiwa Rods and Reels, Bayou Outdoors Super Center. And let me give you a little bit of heads up of what's going on with Bayou Outdoor Super Center right now. Big open house that is going to start tomorrow. Ben sent me a note about this. Open house tomorrow through Saturday. Free hot dogs, low prices. He says, make sure you go see Ben and little Cody, too. They don't have a dog. Go see Ben and little Cody, too.
Well, they do, but they wouldn't do that to their dog like somebody else did.
He says, see Larry, see Ben. And now he's picking on my fishing partner. He says, see Larry, see Ben, and little Pete, too.
and if you're looking for a great deal on a used boat, go see Ben. My boat is up there.
There you go.
2009 Ranger Z520, excellent condition, showroom ready. I mean, you couldn't get a better deal on a good used boat, so check it out. Go see Ben.
now,
Ben can help you with that.
When I drive up to Bayou Outdoor Super Center and I want to see your boat,
Yeah.
what do? Do I just walk in and say, hey, I want to see Steve Graff's boat, the
Tell
one he was
Ben,
talking about?
Find Ben, say, I
Okay.
want to see Steve Graff's boat. The sales guys know, too.
Okay.
They're aware of it.
Also want to mention Groove Fishing, Seagar Fishing Line, and Rayburn Country Resort, an East Texas community and golf destination at Lake Sam Rayburn. Come for the weekend, stay for a lifetime. Book your next getaway at RayburnCountryResort.com.
Also, Daryl Gleason, Toledo Bend Guide service over there, Foster Fence Pro. If you're looking for a great trip, go to Toledo Bend, get with Daryl Gleason. He's caught 3 bass over 10 pounds in only a 6-month span. Great educator with techniques and Lowrance electronics. Half-day full trips are available. To book your next trip, go to GleasonFishing.com or call 337-397-8860. I've been out with Daryl. Great angler, great guide. Will teach you a lot while you're in the boat with him.
Here's your Daiwa Samurai Braid best times to fish. This weekend is rated as fair on Friday, but poor Saturday and Sunday. There's only a 20% chance of rain this weekend as temperatures jump up into the 80s with the lows in the mid-60s. The moon will increase to 30% on Friday and 55% by Sunday night. Despite the fish activity being doom and gloom for the weekend, remember it's a spawning season, so get out there and wet a hook. Best times are going to be early evening. Friday, 5:13 to 8:13 p.m. Sunrise will be 7:12. Sunset, 7:25. Saturday, 6:12 to 9:12 p.m. Sunrise will be 7:10. Sunset, 7:26. Sunday, 7:10.
Sunday.
Yeah. What was I saying?
Sunday,
7:10 to 10:10 p.m. Sunrise will be 7:09. Sunset, 7:27. This has been the Daiwa Samurai Braid best times to fish.
And Mike will give you that to you again in the next segment as well.
Yeah. You should see him looking at the clock right now. Okay, listen. I gotta mention something.
Well, you looked at me like I was supposed to do something.
No, I didn't. I looked at you like you're the old mud hen, and because it fits.
He just winked at you.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay, I got to mention something. Apparently, yesterday, there were a number of floating bass reported on Cross Lake. And an angler who was out there saw these bass. He didn't know what was going on. He was like, oh, my God, what's killing all these fish? He called Cross Lake Water Patrol, who in turn contacted the Bass Life Associates.
Yeah.
And said, hey, we got a bunch of dead fish that are floating out here. KSLA apparently went out there. They reported, and Mike, you say it was incorrect, but they reported that there were 50 dead bass floating, and you say there was another count.
Right. Well, according to tournament directors and Bass Life, the KSLA or somebody reported, news media reported 50 plus fish, and I think it was supposed to be in the 20s,
okay,
about the middle 20s. So they only had to embellish 100% to get their news.
Sure, it's just like us. Don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
And I said, somebody, was there not a drug bust, a drive-by shooting, or some politician caught with his pants down for dead fish to be the feature story at 6 o'clock news?
Well,
I just could not believe it.
Long and short, one of the things that I want to address is the black eye that two different groups of people are getting over a situation like this unfairly. Number one, tournament anglers, because it was attributed that without proof that these fish were all recently caught in a bass tournament on Cross Lake and released and died. There's nobody can prove. In all likelihood, that's probably what happened.
Could be.
But there's nobody proven that there wasn't
chemical
another situation, chemical spill. Something could have happened in that particular area of Cross Lake, and those fish could have died.
Depleted.
It was
oxygen.
near the municipal pier. Who knows? But in all likelihood, these were fish that were caught in the tournament. The second group, and so tournament anglers are taking the black eye on that. The second group is Bass Life, the only organization that spends thousands of dollars yearly to replenish the stock of bass in Cross Lake and a number of other lakes. The only organization that's out there, and at one time when Mike and I both sat on the board of Bass Life, I'm going to tell you that there was like 2 acres in the entire state of Louisiana of fish hatcheries. One was down on Toledo Bend, the other one was right here. Guess who was funding it?
Yeah.
It was
Bass Life.
Bass Life was funding it. That was when John Merle handled everything for us, and John Merle set the stage for what is now an incredible hatchery system that's out there. So when someone complains about dead fish, guess what? Guess who paid for those fish to begin with?
Yeah. And again, we're talking not even a percentage of a percentage,
right,
on the death of these fish.
Apparently, there was 290-something fish weighed in the tournament, and from what the television station reported, 50 of them were found floating dead. Mike brings up the greatest point. Now, granted, these anglers can do with fish what they wish as long as they stay within the size and creel limit.
Yeah, within the law. Yeah.
But Mike brings up a great point. Every time that a tournament angler is accused of wrecking a lake, and what do you say?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I said so much. I don't. Well, the deal is
the mortality rate of those.
That's it. That's it. We in tournaments we may have a 5% mortality rate. You catch 100 fish, 5 of them may die.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 10. And then
what if it was 50?
Somebody out there sees the fish and they call the news media and they make a big production out of it. Guess what? That somebody is sitting out there with a pole. His mortality rate, his or her mortality rate, is guess what?
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Every fish they catch, and there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
Nothing wrong with catching the fish and eating them.
No.
But every fish they catch, from 2 fingers up to, 10 pounds, they take it home and eat it. And nothing's ever said about it. And it shouldn't be.
That's right.
So why the fishermen out there supporting the stocking, supporting the replica programs
With their pocketbooks.
The tournament fishermen drive the industry.
Right,
It's not
right.
the bank sitters.
And it doesn't give us the right to kill fish.
No, we didn't
But-
kill the fish.
Exactly.
We didn't kill the fish.
My point is-
there was a just, and I'm not making light of the fact that there was 20 or 25 fish went to
Floating,
waste.
right.
That's the only thing that happened that was wrong.
Right.
Those fish were wasted,
Yeah.
and that's it. But it doesn't matter if you want to take the fish home and waste it. You
don't throw them in the ditch.
Well, you can't do that. That's
Well, I'm talking about
waste.
at your house.
Yeah,
But I'm going to say this. Even if all 297 had died, that
Yeah.
basically has almost zero impact on Cross Lake.
none. It does
None.
not.
The thing that bothers me the most is that nobody's standing there when they see Bass Life or tournament anglers coming off the hip with funds by the thousands to finance these particular things, the Bass Replica Program, the number of things that tournament anglers fund through tax dollars on their fuel, on their boats, on their fishing tackle.
Building piers on Caddo Lake, driving pilings and signs on Lake Vista,
funding fishing programs for kids.
Yeah.
Those kind of nobody standing there when it comes to the news to thank the tournament angler or Bass Life Associates for those contributions. Yet you let 25 fish, and granted, it was a waste, and I hate to see that happen.
Yeah.
But you know what? Why is that any more newsworthy?
Well, why don't they concentrate on the poor water quality from Cross Lake? When you drinking water, that stuff stinks up here in Shreveport. What the heck is going on with Cross Lake and the smell? I can't
It's
stand
the dead fish.
Oh, I don't.
That's what
Maybe
it is.
you're right.
Hooking up and tracking down 11:30. The Tiger.
All right, when you're heading for the lake Saturday morning, tune in your dial to 1130 The Tiger from 6 to 8 for more of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. This segment presented by Bob Seeley Big Bass Splash Series, Wildwood Resort at Toledo Bend, Natchitoches Ford, and Bass Cash Bash. Don't be that guy who forgot to register and cash in on a great tournament circuit. Go to basscashbash.com to register today. Now back to the men who will never be that guy, Gary, Steve, and Mike.
Here's your dial with best time. I don't get to do it again.
Hey, Jay, cut his off. Cut his mic off.
You know what? I want to mention how incredible this show
I
has
can
already
read.
been.
I just can't tell time.
I mean, just think of this now. We've already had Jordan Lee on the show again, second year in a row, within a matter of days after he won the Bassmasters Classic. And he was talking about the terrible nightmares that he had. I have one of those nightmares every Wednesday.
Do you?
Show up and there's Eccles again. It's like, well, dang.
Well, you looked up Jordan Lee on the internet and those pictures came up. I'm going to have dreams about that.
Yeah, buddy. Okay, your United Rentals trivia question of the day today.
Yeah, look, can I set this up?
Yes.
I want y'all to understand. I really want y'all's opinion on this. This is basically about advertising. And I'm just curious what you guys' opinion. We'll even take Jay's opinion on this.
He has no idea.
Well, yeah, he'll have an idea.
He pushes
Jay,
buttons.
are you a NASCAR guy?
Yeah.
Oh, he'll fully understand where I'm going.
I love watching Jeff Gordon race.
Okay, who's the sponsor when he was racing?
Oh, DuPont. Yeah.
Rainbow Skittles.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Jimmy Johnson, who's his sponsor?
Lowe's.
Okay, now go with the question.
Wow.
There you go.
You are a big NASCAR fan.
Well, I mean, I know those guys.
You and Ben Marshall. I mean, you know,
But
180 miles an hour, turn left.
You're going to make my point. Go ahead.
Okay. Your United Rentals trivia question of the day today. Can you name the main sponsor for Kevin Van Dam, Edwin Evers, or Jordan Lee? Yes.
I can name the first two. I can't name the last one.
Jordan Lee's is Carhartt.
Okay.
Kevin Van Dam, Strike King.
Strike King, and Edwin Evers is Nitro Boats.
Okay. Well, and Kevin Van Dam really is Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro?
Okay.
But you know what? Now, he just signed a big deal with Minn Kota.
Yeah. No, Kevin signs big deals with everybody.
Well,
probably,
yeah.
so.
But Edwin Evers is not a Bass Pro Shop also?
He's also Bass Pro. He wears the Nitro shirt and promotes the boat line.
But it's not Jordan Lee Carhartt.
Jordan Lee is Carhartt.
Yes.
I'm impressed that you knew that.
And so is Matt Lee,
So
his brother.
Matt Lee is too. You're exactly right.
They wear the same breeches.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, the majority of the public will not
Now, what
know
is Jimmy Johnson's
the answer.
Jimmy Johnson doesn't fish.
Exactly. He's still
I
going to
just
be
don't
low.
know how we got from NASCAR to bass fishing.
Well, the point being, the logoed shirts, which are very popular with NASCAR, they wear the logoed outfits with all their sponsors on them. Fishermen wear the logoed shirts with all their sponsors on them. How many can you really name?
But you know what? Now I'm gonna change this.
Don't change my damn question.
You know that the reason why you know the
Okay,
sponsors,
Dion.
you
Okay,
know that the
Dion.
reason why you know the sponsors of NASCAR is because of the logoed vehicle.
Yeah.
And since the wrap came up,
Wrap
for the
is
boats.
big. Okay.
that's been the biggest plus for these product sponsors.
No doubt.
I don't think so. I don't.
Really?
I would not put Kevin Van Dam with Strike King because of his boat. I would put it because of the commercials.
Who else is on those commercials? Strike King, there's a number of them.
Absolutely.
Greg Hackney's one.
Jordan Lee's filming one right now.
Denny Brower.
Denny Brower's done some in the past, yes.
But when you see a Strike King commercial, it's Kevin Van Dam.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're wrong. Well, yes, I am. You're wrong. No, I'm just saying I don't know. There was a big deal made about doing the logos, the sponsor logos, into the carpet on the front deck of the boat.
Yeah. For camera time.
Yeah, and
I think those probably are good.
Well, I'm sure
I think
good.
they're effective.
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, I still place them with the commercials they do.
Yeah,
and you don't see a lot of NASCAR people doing commercials.
Right.
Well, I'm going to be real honest here. Being in the advertising world, it's all about what's called impressions. And there's a number of times when you see something or hear something that it's not traditional advertising.
It's those sublingual messages.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Sublingual?
What it is. It's exactly what it is. Yeah, that too.
What are we working with?
But what it is is all of a sudden, it is a non-traditional kind of an advertisement ad.
Yeah.
It's like when you're watching a baseball game. All of a sudden, you're watching the World Series, and every inning, a new ad pops up behind the catcher. In the backstop right there behind the umpire and everything. They'll have a new sponsor that pops up right there.
Right.
And that's
It's called
because
the end zone.
yeah, the end zone in a baseball game.
Good, okay. Do we know these guys because they win?
Oh gosh, yes.
So the guys that aren't winning,
Yeah.
we probably couldn't name
Yeah.
their sponsors.
No.
Because they're not. Number one, they ain't getting much TV.
You can't
time.
name the guy
Yeah,
even.
that's probably right.
Charlie Hartley, name one of his sponsors.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
and for all
Kevin Short.
yeah,
Pink. I don't know what the
Now,
pink stands for. But
Now I want to throw one out there for you that you might have one, but you won't be able to name two. And this is a big guy. Name a sponsor of Aaron Martin's.
Aaron's is.
Bet you don't even know what kind of boat he runs.
Aaron's probably running a Phoenix.
Probably.
Probably.
See
Yeah.
that? I mean, and he's one of the real, true elites out there.
He is the
You don't
leading-
respond
Yeah,
to his
exactly.
personality.
You're right.
Yeah, he's one of the leading second-place anglers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what? You are a huge Brent Ayler fan.
Yeah.
Name one of his sponsors.
Dial
He
was
finished
his
second.
top sponsor.
See?
Yeah, without a doubt.
And it's because
he's up front a lot.
but it's because you like him. You like him. You
Yeah, I
follow
like
him.
him, but
Pete Daniels, my
but
fishing
why do
partner,
I follow
loves
him?
Brent
Because
Ayler.
he wins. You
Yeah.
know, he wins too.
And you think about that's what these sponsors want to be associated with.
Yeah.
Why do you think
Like-
Why do you think we have such incredible sponsors with this program? And this is sounding a little uppity, but why do you think we have such great?
The logos on my fishing shirts.
No, that was it. That was it. We have these.
I knew Mike would get a kick.
I mean, I'm going to tell you that it comes down to we've demonstrated the capacity to win in outdoors radio.
yeah, that's right. You're
and
right.
that's why people want to be associated with us.
That's like Jonathan Van Dam.
Name a
Van
sponsor.
Dam. I can't tell you who his sponsors are.
Exactly.
he's got the Van Dam name.
Yeah. I mean, Edwin Evers. Name besides Bass Pro Shops. Name another sponsor of Edwin Evers.
He's a motor guide guy. I do know that. Motor guide.
Well, somebody got to be with everything. God love him. There he is.
But
Saddled.
now, Major League Fishing, that is a logo-driven
Oh, without a doubt.
deal.
FLW started it all.
It is a
exactly.
logo-driven deal, but we've talked about this before. They do not promote their baits on Major League Fishing.
Really?
No,
They kind of hide them, matter of fact.
absolutely,
Yeah, they do
absolutely.
hide 'em.
Yeah, are they
Because-
fishing with
because-
stuff that's not out yet?
I think that they're using stuff there to get a lot of bites that they use on tour that they just don't want everybody to know about.
They do have a show now called Major League MLF Update or something. Where Major League Fishing All Angles.
Yeah.
It goes in depth on, say, the last tournament and what they caught their fish on.
See, I would love to see
on
Major
the winner.
Usually the winner,
But,
yeah.
but the other 10, you watch them, and you said it.
Yeah.
They'll actually
They'll throw the
keep
bait
that
back in the water.
bait in their hand where you can't see it.
or
See,
they'll
I
flip
would,
it over the
I
side
would
of the
love
boat.
to see Major League Fishing pull off a tournament like what you did with us last year, when for the first 2 hours you fish with this lure,
Yeah.
and for the next 2 hours you fish with this lure,
Yeah.
and the next two this lure.
The only way they'll be able to do that is to take 5 or 10 Strike King guys and do the show with them.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to take a Zoom guy. A Zoom guy is not going to want to fish a tournament
And is Zoom even
and win fishing Strike King baits.
Oh, didn't even think about that.
No, I mean, it would be a great deal. I think that was a very, very a lot of fun. You know,
Strike King's their primary sponsor, I would think, on baits. I don't think the Zoom is a part of the
No,
deal.
I'm just saying.
But he said
I'm
if
just
you
saying-
had a Zoom guy, he doesn't want to win using a Strike King
Right.
bait.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
would
mean-
only be able to do that with 4, 5, or 10 guys that were already being sponsored by one company.
Right.
Because they're not going to want to. The guys are not going to want to promote somebody else's bait.
Tell me this, how loyal do you think an angler is on a tough tournament day to his brand? If all of a sudden, I'm a Mr. Twister guy, and boy, I'm killing them on this Cometa,
I've got an example for
and
you.
I run out, how loyal am I going to be to my Cometa.
I know a guy that it cost him sponsorship on the tour, and he had to drop the tour because of that one incident. He was fishing another bait on a national televised program that was not his sponsor, and his sponsor has the exact same bait, but it wasn't his brand. And the guy won the tournament in Florida, and the sponsor pulled his sponsorship from him, and he had to quit fishing.
Do you blame him?
I don't know.
No, I don't blame them.
No.
But I also may not blame him.
Exactly.
If he felt like that's what he had to do to win.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's all about winning.
Sure it
we
is.
all know that.
But did he convey that to them?
But he won on their money, on their dollars?
Well, true. Yeah.
We're paying you to go down there and fish,
Yeah.
and you're going
With
to
our
win on somebody else's bait. No, I
Yeah.
want my money back.
Yeah.
How many
I said-
times do we think that happens?
Oh. Ooh.
I mean, especially on the Elite Series.
But you know what? It just reinforces what a lot of the guys say. It really, the color, the actual lure itself, it is about that presentation.
Yeah.
And it's about being on the right fish and making the right decisions. And I'm going to tell you that, if there is a beaver-style bait out there that's one's made by Big Bite, another one's made by Reaction, another one's made by
V&M.
Mr. Twister,
Yeah.
whatever the
Yeah,
case
right.
by V&M.
Right.
You know what? A good angler can catch fish on all of them.
Pretty
Ooh,
much.
We got a correction. Edwin Evers is no longer with Motor Guide.
Oh, really?
Yep. He said almost all of them have gone to Minn Kota with the new spot lock.
Oh,
trolling
yeah.
motor.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
Kyle
true.
Kennington, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good information. We do have somebody listening today.
Can you believe that we got to wrap this thing up here in a minute?
I'll tell you, it's out. These 2 hours flew
There's
by
people out
today.
there that are glad of that.
We're hooking up and tracking down 11:30. The Tiger.
So if you want me off your back, well, come on and let me know. Should I stay or should I go?
Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show thanks you for tuning us in today. This segment presented by Nichols Department Stores, Sproul Lures, K2 Coolers, and Gamakatsu Hooks. The hooks that put fish in the boat and anglers in the winner's circle. One more time, here's Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and Steve Graff.
I hate those anglers when they do so good.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit
Foreigners.
Let me tell you a little bit about some Daiwa product that we just got in, and again, this is something I've been throwing for a long time. I'm gonna promote not just the rod and reels today. We're gonna talk about Daiwa Samurai Braid. I'm telling you right now, if you walk in to Big Dave over there at Bayou Outdoors and ask him what's the best braid you got, there ain't but one name he's gonna throw at you, and it's called Daiwa Samurai Braid. He said it's absolutely the top seller he's got. It's the best line on the market, and they come in 150-yard spools, 300-yard spools, everything from 10-pound all the way up to 80 or 100-pound tests. And the thing about it, the diameter, like for the 70-pound, is 14-pound mono diameter. So just a great line. One of the differences, too, I will tell you, as a guy that's been in the thread business years ago in the garment industry, thread is made different ways. This can be an 8 braid weave.
Does that mean eight different
strands
yes, all weave together?
All weave together.
Okay.
Now the difference is this: when you put on your reel, a year from now, it's still going to be dark green.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't lose any of that color.
No, and there's a reason why. When they dip dye a regular spool of thread, it's pressure dyed.
Okay.
With Samurai Braid, each individual thread is dyed, then it's wrapped.
Holy cow.
That's why it maintains the color that it does. So,
okay, gotcha.
Great product. Big Dave's got it over at Bayou Outdoor Super Center. John Abraham's got it at Cypress Knee Outdoors, and Kirk Carver will have it. It's probably going to be behind the counter because it's expensive, and I promise you, Kirk probably just don't have it sitting on the shelf somewhere. This stuff is valuable. It is the best braided fishing line you will ever throw.
What do you reckon this cost me at Bayou? $50-$60 for that?
Probably for 300 yards spool, I would imagine. It's
and a
expensive.
300-yard spool, you know, the way what are you going to get? 5, 6 reels out of that?
Now, I do the base of mine with mono first.
Yes, yeah. That's
because most of the time with my
people,
braid,
right.
I'm flipping and pitching a lot of stuff with braid.
Yeah.
But I do have some that I make long casts with, but I'll still pre-spool with a little mono on there
What
first.
dates will you throw braid on?
I'll throw a trap. I will throw a chatterbait, especially in grass. If I'm in grass, I'm throwing braid with a trap or the chatterbait. Both of those I'll throw it. A swim jig, a swim bait.
Buzzbait?
Buzzbait, yes. Matter of fact, Santone actually makes a specific buzzbait just for braided fishing line. Santone does.
Crankbait.
Crankbait?
No, not me. Not on crankbait. Rattle trap, yeah.
Yeah, a trap. It depends on, again, if I'm running shallow through the grass, I might put it on braid, you know. But now, the one thing you're going to lose, whether it's a chatterbait, crankbait, whatever, you know, a lot of times when it's all about the rod then. You got to have a good tip rod.
Mm-hmm.
Who won the first tournament on braid and where?
Wow. That's a great Bobo Dalton. I mean, a Bobo.
Nope.
I mean,
Dalton Bobo. Was it a flipper? Probably.
Yeah.
The guy was flipping. Denny Brower.
Nope.
Who?
He's actually not alive.
Now braid came out years
Ken
ago.
Cook?
Nope.
Braid came out years ago, didn't it?
I realize that.
I'm
Are
just
you
saying
talking-
it's not a
but
new
it-
product. A lot of
but
people think braid is new. It's not
Braid
new.
was here before we had monofilament.
Exactly. A lot of people don't know that. So
David Wharton won a tournament on Toledo Bend
Oh, wow.
with braid, and he fished all 3 days without ever retying.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
I'd like to see what kind of braid, how it compares to today's braid as far as
This was like
cable.
log and chain.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I got to mention that we still got $400,000 available through April 30th in the Bass Cash Bash that's going on Lake Sam Rayburn. Entry fee, $50 if you want to go fish Sam Rayburn. There's also the bonus entry, which is only $70. That includes your bonus T-shirt, and you get extra prize money and prizes if you catch one of the tagged fish there. Now, Lake Fork just cranked up March the 1st. It will go through June 30th. $100,000 available there. Plus, they have the Big Fish of the Month award that they're giving on Lake Fork, which is really a cool deal. And then starting May 1st, going all the way through Labor Day, Toledo Bend's going to kick things off, $400,000, $50 entry fee, the basic entry fee on each one of the 3 lakes, or you can pay the $70 bonus entry and take advantage of that. But it's just It's tough. I mean, I know what it's like to be that guy. I caught a tagged fish on Toledo Bend 3 or 4 years ago, and it cost me, a chunk of change.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Landers Ram Cash Splash. We start tomorrow night on Cross Lake. Our first of 8 Thursday night tournaments out on Cross Lake. We'll be out there start taking registration at 4:15. Entry forms are out at Bacon's and at Bayou Outdoors. If you want to go by and pick up you an entry form, you can't enter there. You have to enter at the public ramp tomorrow.
And at 4:15?
4:15, we start taking entries at 4:15. But if you run by there, go ahead and get your entry form. You and your partner can fill it out.
One of the things that you have a problem with you can't go fishing tomorrow on Cross Lake and
if
then
you're
enter.
fishing the tournament, you cannot be on the lake until you can launch your boat someplace and come over to the public ramp at registration time.
Okay.
But you cannot be out fishing tomorrow. Entry is $55. And we got a real good payout. And we got the youth division too. Anybody fishing with the youth, 16 years or younger, first the highest finishers that are fishing with youth, we pay the youth. Thanks to Ralph Yelverton, National Loan and Jewelry, Hooking Up and Tracking Down, which I need a check from,
right,
and David Cowden Roofing. These are the 4 sponsors that make the youth. And we pay the youth. We don't pay the parents.
Hey.
Right.
Hey, I got a question. No, about what time will tomorrow night's tournament be over? Or do you not make that decision until then?
No, I will. It'll be the same time that the TNT quit fishing last Thursday night, and I don't know what time that was, but I'll find out.
Gotcha.
All right. Probably one of the biggest benefit tournaments of the year is coming up at Toledo Bend. Despino Tire benefits Children's Miracle Network. $20,000 first place prize.
This will bring out some guns. This will bring out some guns.
Guaranteed. First place. Second place is $5,000, $3,500 for third, $3,000 for fourth. They're paying all the way through 30th, which is $500. It's based on 200 boat entries from the pay down from second on. So
Saturday, April the 14th.
They could have more than 200.
Easy. You got to get registered that on Friday the 13th. Before that, now question:
yes,
will the winning stringer come north of the Pendleton Bridge or south of the Pendleton Bridge?
I'm gonna have to say south.
What about you, Mike?
Just say north.
It's in April.
I know. I'm gonna say north.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'd have to go with a graph on this one.
Yeah.
I think your spawn is going to be a little bit later. You move south on the lake.
We're going to be on another moon by then.
Now, also, this is a trailering tournament, so if you want to put in and say Big Bass Marina or Fin and Feather down there around 6 Mile and all
fish
that,
early down there and then come north.
Got to be at San Miguel for the weigh-in, which is where the tournament is going out of, San Miguel Park, right there on Toledo Bend. Again, it's April 14th.
I wonder how many people are going to be fishing San Miguel Creek that day.
Probably
for $20,000.
Yeah,
first place.
A bunch. Also, this weekend I will be at the Dylan Poche event. I'll be emceeing. Looking forward to it. Great fun. Raffles, hamburgers, hot dogs, bounce house. I'm hoping Keith Poche is going to be there, maybe to sign autographs. But anyway, giving away $8,000 in scholarship money, $7,000 first place guaranteed to the winning team. So looking forward to that. That's this weekend. Again, registration for that is at Toledo Town and Tackle, starting at 2 o'clock on Friday.
Oh, and make plans for the Minden St. Jude Reeling for a Cure Bass Tournament. It'll benefit St. Jude. This is coming up also on Saturday, April the 14th. If you're not going to be able to go down and fish on Toledo Bend for the big Despino Tire Tournament, you can fish either Red River South or Red River or Lake Bistineau. Weigh-in's going to be at Red River South. You're helping a great cause on that one as well. Reeling for a Cure. All the information on their Facebook page. Just go to Minden St. Jude Reeling for a Cure on Facebook.
Yep.
Is it that time already?
Man, I'm telling you, man.
Dude.
I am hungry, though.
Okay. So, Jay, I mean, we have to leave now?
Now, you don't have to leave, no.
Okay.
But we have to get off the air.
Okay.
Oh,
All
man.
right. That time.
So you ready for the final word?
Do it!
Here we go, with 27-year-old Jordan Lee winning back-to-back Bassmaster Classics and his brother Matt finishing fourth. It's a reminder of just how talented the young anglers are coming up. It's proof that the College Series programs for FLW and BASS are working. These guys are hitting the ground running and taking professional bass fishing by storm. Their learning curve has been cut in half due to the college programs. That these young anglers also have a key ingredient for success, which is one thing: confidence. For Mike Eccles, Gary McCoy, Jay Wiley, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for more Hooking Up and Tracking Down here on 1130 The Tiger.